Well, good afternoon and welcome to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. You may notice that this is not the voice of Coach Elix. This is Steven, the medium, who is Elix's co-host. And this is our first show, the pilot show from us doing it from home and with the staff, especially Jim, the station manager, as well as Mark, the producer. They have been amazing. The only problem, which is a little bit of a problem, is that the host of the show we can't hear. He was here, and when we were doing the testing, they I guess you couldn't hear me, but you could hear Elix. And I don't know. I guess maybe we flip a coin and see who's more important for today's show. Well, listen. Next Wednesday, I'll be doing the same with Through the Static, and Elix and I will be there. But just like anything else, we're testing this out. The great thing is that we have the equipment from home, and the fact that we're able to do this remotely because of COVID and, just because of the studio is so tiny, and it's just so difficult I know for myself, and I've said this many times on my show, that I can't do readings with a mask. And it's difficult enough. And I think we're all, even though we still have to follow the rules of masks, it's still a culture shock, I think, for most of us. So I can't do readings, whether, I'm not doing anything in person anyway. But when I do Zoom calls, obviously readings, I don't need my mask. And it's just one of those things. But the great thing is that we're here. We can do this from home, so the shows can continue both today. We'll Get a Grip with Coach Elix on today, Fridays at 1, as well as my show. But hopefully we'll figure this out with Elix. In our home, our new home, and you probably have heard us talk about that. About 3 weeks ago, we moved. I have an office which is on the top floor, and Elix has an office which is below me. And even though it's the same house, with doing this, it seems like we're oceans away. Elix hasn't come back up yet, so I'm sure Elix is probably trying to figure this out with Jim and Mark at the studio. But let me just tell you that Elix has...
I think I'm back.
Hey!
Hello, everyone. What a way to start.
I took care of you.
I know. I could hear some of it, but I was desperately trying to figure out what is going on. But that's part of the process.
And
we are
good.
Super excited to be able to do this from the safety of our homes, for the safety of everyone. So it's a new process for all of us, including our general manager, our producer. So we're just sort of dancing with what we've got. And what we've got is we got Coach Elix finally on the line. We have Mr. Steven the Medium, my better half.
I'm here.
Right, not next to me, because we're technically in two different rooms, but we're
two
together.
different floors.
Two different floors, but we're together. And then we have Mr. Mark, our producer, and our general manager, working diligently from the radio station. So we could not be more thankful about to them and everything that is going on, including this opportunity to do our radio show, be back live with all of you guys. And today I have an amazing show with an amazing guest, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that there's some thank yous that are in order. And the first one, we are so grateful to be surrounded by lots of family, lots of friends, and I hope they're listening. Eva, Titi Eva, and I'm so thankful to them because they sent us a package. I made a request. They're in Puerto Rico. They sent us a package, and they were unwilling to have me pay anything for it. And I don't know how I'm gonna return the favor, but I'm gonna return the favor. And we have lots of great food thanks to Titi Eva, to Eva Milagros, and my family in Puerto Rico. So thanks to them. Steven is happy about that. Steven, you're still here with me?
Of course I am. I'm in Mariana. Don't forget Mariana.
And don't forget Petunia. That's for sure.
Exactly,
so
exactly.
If you guys are listening, big hard, big kisses and a warm hug to all of you. And also got a huge surprise by a high school friend, somebody that I have not seen in a long time. I mean, I don't want to go into the year that I graduated high school, but it was, a couple of years back. And she reconnected with me after many years because of the radio show, because of, my social media. And she simply asked for my address. And I thought, oh, maybe, this is the time where everyone sends Christmas cards. So I never thought any of it. And all of a sudden, yesterday, right, Stephen, or the day before, we got a package.
Yeah, 2 days ago.
And it was filled with all kinds of beautiful things, cookies, and she's an artist, so, handcrafted cards and a beautiful ornament. And I was so moved and so touched by her generosity and by just that the gift itself. It was a total surprise. So a big thank you to Sandra Lugo, who lives in Georgia, but it's originally from Puerto Rico, and it's a high school friend of mine. So many years ago. I'm not that many. I'm not that old. Right, Stephen?
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, you better not say anything. So today we have already addressed doing the show remotely. As many of you know, we are in our brand new home in Cape Cod, and we're loving everything about it. And it has been the last couple of weeks have been extraordinary in many ways. But being here is just something that we wake up to, and we are in love from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep every single day, and super grateful for being here. And anything you want to add about that, Stephen?
No, I just say the same. It's as we said before, Elix. It's our dream home, and the fact that we get this time period on this earth to be able to live here is, I think, every day we'll just be grateful.
Yes, and the year 2020 is almost over, and I can see, the entire globe, the entire universe, like really giving a standing ovation, because most everyone want this year to be over and want to start 2021, brand new, and new possibilities, new goals, new everything. But the holidays are here, and Stephen and I love the holidays, so stay tuned, because we did a beautiful, awesome video that Stephen will be posting sometime soon, I hope. And it's a tour of our home and what we've done for the holidays. So we love to share. The holidays for us are super special. We love Christmas. So this is an opportunity to kind of share with you, our spirit of the holidays, our spirit of Christmas, and tell you a little bit about what we're up to. So I'm hoping that everyone is doing well, and that you got started, and that, even though the holidays are going to look different, I'm inviting everyone to focus on what's possible, to focus on what it is that we have, not what we don't have, but what it is that we have, and to take a minute to just simply be grateful. 2020 has been a disruptive year for all of us for many reasons, but it's also a year that has been filled with many opportunities. So this is an opportunity for you to really focus on, what it is that you can be grateful. And I guarantee you, no matter what has happened, no matter where you are, no matter what the circumstances, you can always find that one thing to be grateful about. So I'm about to go into a break.
Elix, before you go on a break,
Yeah.
I know you mentioned this, and I think I did too, but just another thank you for Mark and Jim and the staff really at the station that Jim actually did a video for us to be able to understand this application and to be able to do this. And you sound so great, Elix. We can hear Mark so great. Just thank you guys at WARA AM, because this is pretty phenomenal.
And the thing is, for those of you who are watching the live stream, you're gonna see a static graphic, but our general manager did that graphic, in partnership with my marketing manager, and so they've gone above and beyond.
Marketing manager.
Excuse me, ours. Even though I've known her much longer than you.
Oh, here we go.
Just saying, and she would agree.
Well, I've known Mark. I've known our producer longer, so Mark and I are tied together, right, Mark?
You're gonna say much longer. I know you were about to say much longer. So, yeah, like a couple of months more longer. Actually, a couple of weeks longer than me. But anyways, when we come back, we are going to be joined by Miss Kay. Today, it's an opportunity. I'll tell you more about what we're gonna do. But Miss Kay is a force to be reckoned with, an extraordinary young woman who. Many years ago was my client, and she's up to incredible things. So we're gonna take you to the roadmap of what coaching looks like, and so stay tuned. And you can always call, by the way, no matter whether we're at home or that doesn't change. So if you want to call, you want to join in the conversation, 508-222-1320, and we will be right back. And welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. This is Coach Elix, and I am with my co-host in the other room, Mr.
Steven the Medium.
There you go. And if you are just joining us, we are coming to you remotely for the first time from our homes because we are taking our health and your health seriously. So we wanted to do the show in the most effective and safe way possible. So thanks to our producer, to the general manager, we have the opportunity to do that. So now I talked about, I have a wonderful guest. She is known as Miss K. And today, many people are often asking me, they don't understand what coaching is. That's the number one question. What is coaching? What does it entail? And people often confuse coaching with mentorship or being an advisor. And there's nothing wrong with mentorship or advice, being an advisor to someone. There's a place for being a mentor. There is a place for being an advisor. But neither is what coaching is. What's the difference? Well, in my experience, people grow to be stronger. They grow to be more adaptable and more self-sufficient when they are challenged to think differently. And that's what I do as a coach. My job is to be a thought-provoking partner, a listening partner that's going to challenge you to think differently. And a mentor or an advisor is really somebody who is, or the difference is you simply accepting or executing recommendations from someone else. And again, nothing wrong with that, but that's not what coaching is. So in the spirit of kind of letting you into the conversation of coaching, I wanted to have a real life example of what coaching looks like, a case study of sorts. And that's an opportunity for me and for me to make it clear to you as to what coaching is and what it is not, perhaps as important, and how powerful coaching can be to transform your life, both your business and your personal life. And there are many people that, of course, would do a case study, but Miss K is somebody who I've known for many years. I've met her originally through one of the programs I led, an introduction leader program for Landmark Education. There was a very strong coaching component, and for many years we've known each other, and I actually feel super strongly that she is the perfect example of what coaching can do for you, or how coaching can transform your life. So please welcome me in joining Miss K. Hello, Miss K.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Here we are, and you got two for the price of one because Stephen the Medium is here with us.
Hi, Miss K.
Hello, Stephen.
So Miss K, we've known each other for a long time. So why don't you tell people your perspective as to, how we met and how life transformed for you over the years. And we're gonna get into the specifics. We're gonna navigate this roadmap together because I want to give people, a crystal clear visual as to what the coaching roadmap looks like. But why don't you tell people a little bit about who you are and what you're up to?
Sure. And before I just dive right in, I just want to share for anyone on the fence about coaching or whether or not it's for you, there is a new year coming. New Year's resolutions, consider it. I think the year 2020 has opened up a lot of new perspectives and insights for all of us as to what's actually important in life. And I think 2021 would be a life-changing and wonderful, rewarding opportunity for anyone that has newly seen things in their life through this lens of 2020 and, maybe, what I've been doing up to this point isn't exactly what I want. How do I get what I want? This is how you do that.
And I swear this is not a paid advertisement. I have not given Audra any money whatsoever, but she is absolutely right. New year, new you. This is a great opportunity to
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
of this conversation as a way to step into a bigger gap. And by the way, Audra, believe it or not, I swear to God, we never talked about this. I'm actually coming up with a promotion for those of you who are on the fence. And I don't often do promotions, but I thought, you know what? Again, this is a new year. 2020 has been challenging for many people. So I'm going to step into something new for me, and I'm going to create a promo that's right outside of the box. So stay tuned. Look at under my social media over the next few days. And if you're on the fence about coaching, you may want to take a look at the promotion because it may work absolutely for you to give you a taste as to what coaching is. So, Audra, tell
Yeah.
us about you.
Yeah. So when Elix and I met, I was in college, and I had this opportunity to, like you mentioned, look into coaching essentially. And for me, it was like, oh, I'm in college, everything is new. I want to experience life to the fullest because I know that I haven't really done that. I was in high school living with my parents, and I didn't really know what that looked like. And I knew that being in college, for me, like the reason why I pursued that is because I didn't know any other path in life at the time to take to really discover who I am and explore my options in life and where I wanted to go. And so I was eager to kind of just assume all kinds of information. And oh boy, I had no idea what was in store for me in working with Elix. But I will say I have not looked back, and I've just enjoyed everything since then. I discovered during that time that there are a lot of habits that I just had either developed on my own or maybe had impressioned upon me because of those people that were in my environment, which I don't know if it was a fairly average environment or not. Well, regardless, I won't go into detail about that, or maybe we will probably touch on that actually a few times during our conversation today. But I could instantly see that, had I continued down that same path, it's a very likely outcome that I would have been those same people. And it's not that I didn't care about them or love them very much, but I just wanted something different for myself. I wanted something that fit my personality and worked for me. And, career aside, because as we will talk about, I've definitely pivoted my career more than once. I've been able to just navigate life in a way that continues to work for me. And I think that for me has been a huge deal.
So now let me just tell everyone, G.R.I.P, which is my coaching methodology, was not formalized back when Audra and I were working together. But I have, I call it G.R.I.P. I didn't call it G.R.I.P at the time, but the roadmap and the concept has always been there because I've been developing G.R.I.P for over the past 20 years. So I think what we want to do, what we should do, Audra, is sort of let's navigate through what G.R.I.P is so that we can allow the listeners to walk through this roadmap with us so that they can use your coaching example as, to sort of learn about what the experience and what can happen when you step into the gap. So let me ask you. So G.R.I.P, by the way, for those of you listening, for those of you tuning in for the first time, is my methodology. It's what I use. I combine it with a lot of the neuroscience of fear and trust, which is conversational intelligence. But G.R.I.P stands for Greatness Requires Intention and Purpose. And how I got to that place is because I grew up often being told, get a grip. And the connotation at the time was very negative. It was like, get your act together. Like something's not right, make it right. And I wanted, and we often use get a grip, but we've been conditioned to listen to it as something that is, there's something wrong, right? So we got to get our act together. So I wanted to reframe that in a way that empowers people. So when you think about get a grip, think about be great, because greatness requires intention and purpose. So I want you guys to think about, where in life you want to be great about, whether it's personal, whether it's business. And when we come back, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Miss Kay, excuse me, and I will navigate GRIP together. Okay? So we will be right back. And hello and welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. We are having a conversation about getting a grip and what that roadmap looks like. And we are doing a case study. And with us, we have a special guest, Miss Kay, who, by the way, is a Hollywood producer. And she's somebody who worked with me a while ago, like close to 20 years ago. So, Miss Kay, welcome back.
Oh, thanks, Elix.
So one of the things about grip, I asked listeners to start thinking about where do they want to get a grip on life. But this time we're reframing it in terms of where do you want to be great? Because being great, being exceptional requires intention and purpose. So there's 4 parts to grip. It's a 4-part methodology. And the first part is about defining what your goal is. What's your why? So the question I have for you, Ms. Kay, is when you and I started working together, were you clear as to what your why was, or was that something that became available to you throughout our conversation?
I was absolutely clear on what my why was. Growing up, I had a household that had a few elements to it that I did not want for myself and my life as I became an adult. I had a parent who struggled with substance abuse. In today's definition, that meant that there was both physical and verbal abuse throughout my childhood in the household. I did not have a voice in the home. For me growing up, children were meant to be, barely seen but not heard. We didn't have an opinion. We didn't have something to contribute. And in my deep, deep, deep of my soul, I just believed that there was more. I believe that, this isn't, not, oh, poor me, this isn't fair, but I believe that I had more to offer than just being, in existence. And yeah, and for me, what I was hoping to discover is how to have more love and more stability and pie in the sky, cherry on the top, more money in my life. We were certainly poor. There was a lot of fighting both in the home and outside the home, and those were the things that I yearned for, and it seemed so vague that I didn't know how it would ever be possible to have those things, but that's what I wanted.
Yeah. Now, by the way, some of you may say, well, I'm also absolutely clear as to what I want. And some of you may be like, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure what it is that I want. I just know that it's not what I have today. And that's okay. There's no right or wrong place to be. This conversation is a thought-provoking conversation that's designed to move you forward no matter where it is that you are. Now, Audra, there's two things that come to mind, especially as I'm, listening to you. I tell my clients that, the first step of GRIP is to define goal. But before we define our goal, it's really important to also have clarity about what is that what's that vision, for us. And I know you talked about wanting to break through, and not have the same life that you grew up with. You want a specific more money, more abundance in life. But when you think about, you go back to that place, how would you have defined your vision?
I wanted to be able to express myself.
And what would that look like? What would have?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Again, because of the household that I grew up in, I trained myself, dare I say, conditioned myself to not have expressions. I didn't want to come across as being weak, by being emotional or by crying or by being, labeled as needy by asking for what I wanted. And I wanted to discover a way to tap in, to express myself that the world would accept.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No. The question that I had, the follow-up question is: so if you were fully expressed, if you were being somebody who is, it's being a fully expressed person, and I gave you the sentence, I am blank. What would that blank look like? What would you fill in the blank with? I am
happy.
I am happy. And happiness would be an expression of you being self-expressed.
Yeah. It just felt like such a burden and such a weight. And again, I felt like I was in an environment where I was not allowed to have a voice. And so I took that on as an identity without realizing it. That, here I was, this human being going through life, not saying what I wanted, not asking for what I wanted, not saying what my true feelings were, whether I was hurt, whether I was in love, whether I was happy. I just withheld all of it because I didn't want to lose people. I didn't want to be alone. I didn't want to be isolated. I didn't want to feel guilty about it. All these other feelings that were associated with that. It was an identity that was, I feel it pressed upon me, and then it was one that I later, assumed, and that wasn't something that I wanted.
So happiness, what I'm hearing, Audra, Miss Kay, is that happiness for you was or is an expression of being fully self-expressed. Absolutely.
In every quirky, unique way. like not trying to fit in, not trying to get anyone to like me, just being me, the things that make me happy, the things that make me love myself.
Now, for those of you listening, that's so critical. So when we talk about having clarity, being crystal clear as to what that why, what's that vision? If you were to live a legacy today, what would that look like? And Miss Kay is talking about being fully self-expressed because that for her is the source of happiness. That's crystal clear because without that, you could have all kinds of goals in life, but they will simply be, to-dos. When you have clarity around what your vision is, what it is that fuels you, then the goals become aligned with that. So once you got clarity around that, being fully self-expressed being happy as an expression of being fully self-expressed, what were some of the goals that were most important for you, Miss Kay?
Well, some of the most important goals at the time that were important were really quite basic. The first and foremost was, start expressing myself. And that was not easy to do. That was definitely one of the areas we worked in regularly in all different facets, with my professors, with my peers, with my parents, with my siblings, with strangers in the supermarket, with everything. It was, for me, a very big undertaking, and it was absolutely challenging, and it was something that I needed desperately to be doing, and that's what we worked on quite a bit.
Anything else? Any other goals that stand out for you?
Well, some of the more tangible goals was finishing my degree at the time. I did not want to drop out of college. I was definitely struggling in some of my classes, and I needed to, express that as well. I needed to learn how to ask for help. That was a very big deal, and that was not easy to do. And I was able to do that. I was able to graduate and get my degree. I wanted a better relationship with my parents. So it was also learning how to communicate in a way that honored them for what they were able to provide, rather than all the other things maybe that I was thinking and wanting to say at the time. So it was also being able to, find the gratitude and find the forgiveness, and find the love, which is one of the things that I wanted. I wanted love, I wanted stability, and I wanted more money.
So talking about, the things that you wanted, what were the roadblocks? Because that's the next part. Once you got clarity around what it is, what's your why, what it is that fuels you, and you have those tangible goals, then it's time to take a look at those roadblocks. And roadblocks often come as blind spots, things that are so hidden from your view that know they're there, but you can't quite see them, and they're constantly getting in the way. And some of the the more general roadblocks are financial, physical, emotional roadblocks. I often talk about the 3 R's, the things that you resist, that you regret, that you resent, that eventually lead you to resentment. In particular, resentment towards yourself, and sometimes resentment towards others. What were those roadblocks that if you think back to the beginning of this process for you, what were the most significant roadblocks that were there for you, and what are the roadblocks that's still there today?
Oh, absolutely. The same. They're not as much of a roadblock today as they were then, but they're still there. 2. 1, I'm not good enough. And 2, pride.
What do you mean by pride? Say more about that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. So, oh my gosh. Despite being poor and having, the other challenges that came along with that, and my parents and the substance issues and all of that, ironically, I was still raised, programmed subconsciously, I think, after my parents, to just have a lot of pride. I'm too good for this, or, oh, I'm too good for that. And oh, I shouldn't be treated this way, like I shouldn't be treated that way. And I think for me that was a huge roadblock and has been throughout my journey in life, where I am able to catch myself in the sense that, for example, being in the workplace and someone says something to me, and instantly that trigger or that switch turns on, and I think to myself, oh, blah, 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 I shouldn't be treated this way. Don't talk to me like that. And that initial reaction has me want to not necessarily reciprocate, but respond in a certain way. And if I want to be someone different in life than how I was brought up, that response needs to be different from my knee-jerk reaction because of the pride. So it's a roadblock in the sense that if I hang on to that pride, which doesn't exist anywhere except in my head, right? Like, it's not real. But if I hang on to it, it keeps me from moving forward in life the way I want to go.
Yeah, and I guarantee you, Miss Kay, that if we were in a room full of people, and I asked the question, how many of you relate to the same roadblocks, not being good enough, or the narrative about not being good enough, or the conversation of pride, looking good, looking bad, and how often we get hijacked by that conversation. I guarantee you,
1,000,000%.
1,000,000% of all hands would go up. So with that said, it's time for me to take another break. When we come back, we'll continue on the conversation. Miss Kay, would you hang in there with us?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Awesome. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Get a Grip with Coach Elix. I am your coach, Coach Elix, and I'm here with my guest, Miss Kay, and we're doing a case study about coaching, about getting a grip on what's important for you. And Miss Kay and I, Miss Kay is a Hollywood producer. We worked together many years ago, and she's a perfect story of somebody who has transformed her life from, thinking about what it is she wanted to making it happen. So one of the things, Miss Kay, welcome back.
Thank you. Hi.
So far we started going through navigating the roadmap of GRIP. Just to summarize for those of you who are listening or just joining us, GRIP is it's a roadmap about being great. Greatness requires intention and purpose. It's a 4-step roadmap to achieving what you want, both in business and life. First part is about identifying your goal, being clear as to what your vision is. What's your why? What fuels you? What is it that gets you to wake up in the morning excited about life? And Miss Kay identified that as happiness, because happiness for Miss Kay is an expression of being fully self-expressed. And under happiness, Miss Kay, under that vision, she had a whole list of very tangible goals that she has been committed to over the years, and that has led to now being a Hollywood producer. Then the next step is about identifying roadblocks. Roadblocks are those, financial, physical, emotional blocks that get in our way. We often see them as blind spots, things that are hidden from our view. I focus a lot on the 3 R's, the things that you resist, the things that you regret, and the things that end up resenting you. Ms. Kay talked about not being good enough as a conversation, a narrative, and being hijacked by that conversation of having pride, looking bad or looking good in many cases. So far, am I getting it right, Ms. Kay?
Nailed it. Nailed it.
Nailed it. So the roadblocks are important because, again, you talked about this is a narrative. It's a narrative. It's a made-up narrative. Except the problem with the narrative is that even though we make it up, over time we listen, we relate to that narrative not as a made-up concept, but as real. I am not good enough. I am somebody who's not smart enough, or I don't have whatever it takes. And we live our lives as if, I took your blood sample and it would come back positive for it. Oh, she's not good enough. And that's a ridiculous way of operating. So this is about recognizing those conversations and being able, and first of all, identifying the conversations, because if they're blind spots, then you don't have access to choosing what to do with them. But the moment that they come to the surface, then you get to choose, then you get to decide what it is that you are going to do with that conversation. Are you going to shift the conversation, or are you going to keep the conversation the same? So here's what I'm going to suggest. So if you're listening, I want you guys, your assignment is to really think about what is it? And I'll just invite you to consider this one question. If you were to, live like, die today, what would you want your legacy to be? Okay. What would you want your legacy to be? Or what's your why? What is it that's most important for you? And once you have clarity around that, then begin to think about some of the key goals, 1, 2, 3 goals that's something that you want to commit to. Even if you don't think they're possible, we're not dealing with that conversation right now. We're just simply willing to step into the gap. And then I want you to also begin to identify, just like Miss Kay, identify what are some of those roadblocks, some of those things that get in your way. And in many cases, it may be similar conversations like Miss Kay, I'm not good enough. Or conversations that are designed to hijack your progress, to keep you from moving forward. So I have a request for you, Miss Kay. The conversation is so rich and so profound that I would like for you, if you're willing to, would you be willing to come back next week so that we can continue the roadmap?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Elix. Absolutely, yes.
So Miss Gay will come back, and then we'll take on the I for integrity and the P for planning the work and working the plan. And then we're going to put it all together, because I want you guys to really get where Miss Gay is today and how the kind of work that it took to go from where you were 20 years ago to where you are today, and what makes that possible. So if you're willing to dance with us and come back, we would love that, because I'm realizing this is too rich of a conversation to get through it, and we only have a few minutes left.
Okay.
So is that a yes? Miss Gay will come back?
Yes, 100%, yes.
Awesome. So Miss Gay, just for anyone who's listening, as we're having this conversation, what sort of insight has this provided for you, if anything?
Oh, gosh. Honestly, in the moment, it reminds me that I'm still having that conversation. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 where it's stopping me and 1 where it doesn't exist. It's about a level 2 or a 3. But it is still there, in particular with this one project, passion project that I'm working on. Yep, still there. There it is.
Yeah. And the thing is that's actually perfect that you say that, Ms. Kay, because one of the things that I keep telling people time and time again, this conversation, coaching is not about becoming perfect. Because the truth is, as human beings, there's no such thing. Human beings, our humanness will always get in the way. So these conversations are going to stay there. They're always going to be there. I always, I myself have the conversation about not good enough. I have the conversation about being an imposter. What this provides for you is the ability to master how to shift the conversation in real time. So that you're not stuck in that I'm not good enough for days, for weeks, for months, and years at a time.
Right. Don't camp out and live there.
No, there's no time for that. So, having said that, we will set you up for next week. We will come back next week, and I am so thankful to have you in our lives. I know Stephen feels exactly the same way. Stephen, are you still around?
I am listening to every word this woman has said. And Audra, one of the things I just want to say before we end this show, and I'm so excited you're coming back, is one of the things I observed is when you started talking about your life and when you were young and what your family dynamics were. And at some point, and I think part of it is just me knowing so much in a short period of time of what you've accomplished and what you've done, it almost felt like, did we just switch 2 different programs? Like, this isn't the same woman that was talking about what she experienced. And I think that is amazing. Doesn't cover it, Audra, from where you came from to where you are. Bravo to you. It's incredible.
Oh, thank you so much.
And you know what, guys? If you're listening and you're curious about what Stephen is talking about, you got to tune in next week, because we're going to talk a whole lot about where Miss Kay is today and the amazing projects that she's taking on. Because this woman does not play small. That's for damn sure.
That's exactly it.
So Miss Kay, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Miss Kay.
Sounds great. Thank you both. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's time to wrap up our show. One thing that I need to let everyone know is that next Wednesday, December 16th at noon, I'm going to be doing a Zoom, and I'm going to be talking about my chapter of the book, Changing Conversations for a Changing World, and my G.R.I.P coaching methodology. I'm going to take you on the yellow brick road map to greatness. So if you want to continue to dive into this conversation and learn more about what GRIP is and how you can navigate the yellow brick road, and learn more about my chapter in the book, Changing Conversations for a Changing World, you want to tune in. It's a virtual event. It's free, but you have to register. So if you enjoyed today's show and you're curious to learn more, you got to head over to my social media at Coach Elix. Find the link. It's anywhere in social media. Click on it, register, no charge. I highly encourage you to attend. It will be a fun conversation and a great way to start setting your 2021 goals. The book Changing Conversations for a Changing World is available. Don't forget, it's available to purchase on Amazon. So, Mr. Stephen the Medium, anything you want to say to close?
Yes, you're going to have this amazing Wednesday afternoon, and then people will just translate that right into Through the Static at 5 o'clock p.m.
That's right. Do not forget to tune in next Wednesday. Stephen and I will do the same, except that we'll switch roles. He'll lead the conversation, and I'll be his partner in crime. And also, don't forget to tune in for Mark, our producer, his show on Wednesdays at 3. Mark, you want to tell them about it?
Yeah, it's March 1320 Jukebox, and we'll be doing some more Christmas stuff on Wednesday.
Oh my God. And Mark loves Christmas, so you cannot miss that show. All right, everyone. Listen, have an awesome rest of the day and get a grip on, having the best life of the best time of your life. And we'll see you next Wednesday.
Have a good weekend.
Bye-bye, guys.